Yeah, just unbelievable. Our game day staff here at Murray Stage, just second to none. You know, they came to us early, and it was our only home game on a weekday. And I knew the week before getting out for Christmas might be tough for schools to allow students to get away. But, you know, just thankful for all the superintendents and the principals and teachers and bus drivers and aides and everybody that made it available for these young kids to come today. They were loud. They were great. I talked to the kids before the game about influence, and I said this is an opportunity to influence every young person in this building by the way you act, by the way you handle yourself, you celebrate each other, you do the right thing. And I thought our kids did a great job of that today because it did get a little bit chippy at times, but I felt like that we handled ourselves well. And just so appreciative of everybody that played a part in making this happen. It was a special day.
Did you hope for a better start to this ball game? When y'all came out shooting?
I had a talk with Briley Pena's dad about Santa Claus bringing our shot. I said, you know, everybody that's asked me what I want for Christmas, and I want to make 3-pointers. And he and I kind of joked about it. And but you know, when the ball goes in the basket like it did at the pace that we're playing, 12 assists on 20 buckets, I think, in the first half. That's Murray State basketball. That's how we want to play. And I just thought that we finally looked like the team that I knew we could be today, sharing the ball, everybody making the extra pass, and we did a great job on the offensive boards when we didn't score. It was just an all-around great effort.
Hey, Coach, let's talk about that moment just to get out of the way, the 6-7 moment. It's only right that I get to ask this question. What was kind of your mindset coming into this game, knowing all these kids were going to be here, and how did you kind of talk to the team about that moment?
Well, I knew that was the moment. I mean, I'm not on TikTok and all that stuff a lot, but, you know, a lot of reels and stuff come across, and that's all it's about. I had a young lady that was at the game today stop me at Texas Roadhouse and say, you think they'll have a 6-7 cam? And I'm like, I sure hope we get to 67. That was my thought process. I hope we get to 67. And then we came down 2 and took 2 threes. And neither one of them went in, which par for the course. But when we got over to the bench, Briley and Haven said, that this whole crowd would have hated us if we'd have made one of those. But they weren't thinking about it at the time. And Des gets fouled, and I'm like, Des, you got to make these. Of course, she makes one. And then basically I just said, we will take nothing but a free throw on this next possession. I said, Haven, I don't care if they call a charge. Run over somebody. We got to get to the foul line. And I'm going to be honest with you, the basket probably would have counted. But Felicia was like, I couldn't. I was like, no, thank you. In any other time, that would have been a continuation with today's rules. And then, Haven, 90% free throw shooter, misses the first one. I'm like, it's not meant to be. But when that 67 finally went in and they got to enjoy it and the kids got to enjoy it, that's what it's all about. It's all about making sure that when we get them here that they are entertained and have a good time and enjoy being in the CFSB Center.
As somebody who has connections to schools around the area, to the community in general, how important was it to see the community and all the kids from around here just out enjoying the game?
It's just great. I made some personal phone calls to some principals, that I know, and sent some personal emails just simply because connections are a real thing. And just the support from all the local schools. I'm not sure what all areas we had, but I know that it wasn't just Murray and Callaway County. It was the surrounding areas. And we want to make this bigger and bigger every year. Hopefully I can do the schools a favor and maybe get a game a little earlier away from a break. I'll work on that for next year. But, it just means a lot to me being in this community pretty much my entire life and being in the Murray school system and having a husband that coached in the Callaway system, a son that went through the Callaway system. So I have a lot of love for both. And for all of them to come out and show out like they did really means a lot to me.
You spoke about, wanting those threes to fall. I talked to you a couple weeks ago. That was the one thing that you needed this team to take that step forward in. Now that you saw that today, do you think it's starting to come at the right time, especially with conference around the corner?
Most definitely. We definitely needed it. I didn't know for sure when it would come, but we knew we needed it by December 29th. So that's why I asked for a Christmas present. But I just think that it's contagious. Once one went in, it's just kind of like they start going in, kind of like the misses are contagious, unfortunately. We missed more free throws today than we normally do. And I was complaining on the bench, like, why on the day that we make threes are we not making our free throws? And the girls reminded me, positive attitude. I get reminded of that a lot. So, but it was great to see the ball go in the basket. It was great to see the perfect effort in which our kids played with, especially in the first half, and the way they shared the basketball. This team's ceiling is really, really high, but the floor is kind of low at times when we don't do what we're supposed to do. But we're starting to get it, starting to understand the chemistry and playing with each other, mixing the new and old together is starting to come at a real good time.
What can you say about Destiny finally getting back on the court tonight?
She just brings so much energy. I mean, she just brings a different attitude when she's out there because she's always talking. She's always energetic. She's everybody's biggest fan. Plus, it just gives us depth in that position, and we're going to have that. That was one thing that, when we lost Jaden Askins early, one of our promising freshmen that was going to come in and hopefully play big minutes for us. I mean, we've just been a little bit short in the 4-5 position. Keslin's definitely playing out of position. She's really a 3, but she's really grasped that role and done a great job with it. But, the way we want to play, the pace we want to play, the more depth we can have, the better. And Destiny will definitely help us in a lot of those areas.
You talked a little bit earlier in the season about, having Hallie and Haven both on the same night, 22 for Hallie, 14 for Haven tonight. They're working really well together. Just what can you say about what those two are doing?
Well, those two are the key to the system. I mean, the pushers are the key to the system. You got to have 2-point guards on the floor at all times because we don't get the ball up the floor at the pace that we want it to if we don't have those. And I think the probably thing that gets most unlooked in games like tonight is the amount of pressure that they play for however many minutes they're on the floor. Somebody is guarding them. Somebody is denying them. There's hands all over them. People are being physical with them. And I don't think they get enough credit for handling the ball. I can promise you the rest of the kids on the team don't want that job. So playing point guard, especially here, is a very difficult position to play, but we got 2 kids that'll take it head on and 2 kids that accept the accountability for everything being their fault because that's what happens when you're a point guard. So just really proud of the way they handled themselves today and the big shots that they made.